LEGO Ideas is one of our favorite themes because it shows off the versatility of the LEGO bricks. Now, we're also a sucker for a good building, which means we are very intrigued by the new Italian Riviera Ideas set, a 3,200 plus piece behemoth of a set that it will cost $300 US, and well, more on that price in just a minute. But as we typically do here on Building Together, we're going to break down the nuances of the building techniques, the interesting pieces, the minifigs, and the price to make sure that you are well informed as you possibly head to the store on October 7th to buy this set. So let's dive in. This set depicts a quaint fishing village on the Mediterranean coast. There is some oceanfront property, a narrow streetscape surrounded by 3 unique buildings: a gelato store, a diving equipment shop, and a fish market. The upper levels of each building contain various shopkeeping residences. For those of you who are fans of a more modular style build, all 3 structures are fully enclosed. The completed set measures about 13 inches wide by 9 inches tall and 12 inches deep, which might complicate displaying it on a 10-inch deep Lego or book shelf. There are a lot of interesting components to the set besides the ice cream cone stealing crab and the lady who seems to be driving her scooter into the ocean. Let's start with the building techniques, which use quite a bit of nice parts usage, angle, and snot work. In other words, exactly what we would hope to see from an 18 plus set. The first thing that jumped out to me were the angles. The original idea submission contained some great angular details, especially with the gelato shop, and the official version I think takes that a step higher. The gelato shop, as I mentioned, angles into the street behind the diving equipment shop, but it's also noteworthy that the sidewalk follows the angle. In other words, you don't just build a building on top of tiles, you actually are building the entire angle into the set. This means that you have to use additional angles in other spots in order to make everything come together smoothly, which you can see they do through this line of the cobblestone streets. And when you look at the shore, you'll notice the use of a hinge brick, which allows you to set that angle. Another angular component is the rockwork along the side of the fish market. Notice how these dark tan and dark play slopes are slotted at an angle with a crab posed on them. This is an interesting technique that creates more detail for rockwork than you typically will see in many Lego sets, which usually will incorporate stacked bricks on top of one another. The rocks aren't just angled though, they use snot techniques, and we find more examples of those techniques throughout the rest of the set. The snot techniques range from basic, using headlight bricks or brackets to add more texture to the exterior walls, as we see with the diving equipment shop, to the more advanced techniques like the aforementioned rockwork, or even this clothes drying rack for the fish market shopkeeper, or even this balcony railing on the second level of the gelato shop. Perhaps my favorite snot technique is the staircase in the diving equipment shop, which is clearly using some reddish brown panels on their sides. One of the most frequently used snot techniques in this set is the 1x1 by 2/3 snot brick with ingot pieces in green or dark turquoise to replicate shutters. Importantly, this is a deviation from the original, which uses actual shutters on many of the windows. We even have this 3rd level window in the fish market residence that is fully shuttered, indicating there's not an actual Lego window there. The third component of high quality Lego sets is nice parts usage, and this set delivers on some of that. There are spoons used in the fence on the 2nd level of the gelato shop, the use of handlebars as barriers near the top of the fish market, you have white hot dogs used as window arches on the back sides of the gelato shop, and a ski pole that is used as part of a satellite dish setup. There are other nice details to this set as well. The dark tan arch topped with flowers in the back of the set creates an alleyway effect. The white window accents break up the exterior color schemes nicely. The cobblestone is certainly parts intensive, but reminds me of the recent Eldorado Fortress, and the consistent use of foliage adds more color and detail to the exterior. Let's not sleep on the interior details, which aren't as fully shown off in the official images, but you can see some nice details in what we have. The gelato shop, my favorite, has lots of ice cream pieces and wall decorations on the first level, plus a kitchen-based second level complete with a mint green refrigerator, mixer, and some reddish brown cupboards that look like chocolate bars. The fish market is full of crabs and fish of different colors. You've got nets, knives, a work table, and a sink. The second level features a kitchen that is very different from that of the gelato building, and I'm not entirely sure though what is on the third level there. The diving equipment shop has air tanks, especially those light blue ones that we see for classic space figures, flippers, and other such equipment, along with a counter. The second level is difficult to see, but I can tell that there is at least some furniture inside. One of the nice things about LEGO sets, especially the 18+ style sets, are that they like to incorporate new colors or even new pieces into these sets, and we certainly see some of that here with the Italian Riviera. The first cool piece that jumps out to me, of course, is the light aqua rowboat, which is new in that color. This one has a brick-built motor on the back, but there are oars included just in case. Sticking with the transportation theme, the dark turquoise scooter isn't brand new in that color, but it is just the fourth time we're seeing it appear in a set. The curved bars with angled ends are used to top the fence of the gelato shop, and they are new this year. It's nice to see them appearing in more sets. The 1x6 mudguard in cool yellow is appearing for the fourth time, and speaking of cool yellow, or bright light yellow as it's referred to on Bricklink, you get a lot of bricks in that color. These bricks aren't terribly rare, but it is nice to get bulk bricks in some interesting colors. Now, one piece that is uncommon in this color is the 10-degree 6x1 slope, which we are getting for just the second time. The other two buildings use rarer colors, which is commendable. The gelato shop provides us a bunch of 1x2, 1x3, and 1x4 bricks in light nougat, which are not all that common, appearing in roughly a dozen sets each. On the first level, we get the 1x3x3 arch in this color for the first time, and at the top, we do get that 10-degree 6x1 slope in light nougat for, again, the first time. The fish market incorporates a ton of reddish orange bricks, which is tremendous. We don't have a lot of those in our collection, so I'm pretty excited about this color. There are 1x6 appearing for just the third time, 1x1 bricks appearing for the first time, along with 1x3 bricks for the second time, and 1x2 bricks for just the third time. Also of note, you get 1x3 tiles lining that second level wall, and those are also fairly rare, appearing in just 5 prior sets. On top of these colors, we're also getting a lot of other masonry bricks in tan, dark blay, and dark orange. We're getting other bricks and pieces, modified plates, plenty of light blay tiles and modified plates to fill out that cobblestone streetscape, and other pieces. So simply put, this is a great parts pack for your collection if you choose to take the set apart. Let's move on to the minifigs, of which you get 10, which I think is plenty to fill out the shops and the streetscape of the set. There are the shopkeepers, some patrons, and one child, the last of which here has a fairly unique torso with a raccoon printing on it, and one of my favorite headpieces, which isn't terribly rare, but I still really like it, and that is the headpiece with a hearing aid. Most of the other torsos, as best as I can tell, are reused from various prior minifigs. Although I will note that the elderly lady with the light aqua apron and the flower printing was one that I couldn't find on Bricklink, so perhaps that's a new torso print. If it isn't, let me know in the comments below where it has appeared before. I will add that only one minifig has leg printing, which is the elderly lady, and none of them have dual molded legs. So these minifigs really strike me more as quantity over quality, which I don't have a huge issue with in a non-licensed set, although it would be nice to see a bit more detail for those minifigs. This is a beautiful set that is full of color and life. It's a subject matter that LEGO hasn't provided for us in set form before, and it has some interesting building techniques and great pieces. So what's not to like? Well, I think for some fans, the deviation from the original idea submission is a point of contention. I'm going to break some of this down to let you see what the original is like and what we see with the official set. Now, the original and official submission have some differences in terms of the shoreline. In the original, you have more of a retaining wall, and here you've got more of a sloped feature to it with more blatant water plates in it. Another key difference is the beach area on the original submission as opposed to not having that in the official set. That's something that I think a lot of fans were hoping to see given the subject matter of the set. There are additional differences, namely the lack of shutters in the official set. There's only a couple on the ground floor of the diving equipment shop, whereas the original uses shutters throughout the entire set. Another key difference is the roof building techniques. The original uses a technique using 1x1 round bricks and plates along with some other straight plates to add strength. That is a very, very similar technique to the Palace Cinema Modular. The official one uses more studs on top building using 1x2 double curved slopes and other pieces. Another key difference is that in the original, the gelato shop was the tallest building, and the slope roof toward the sidewalk is picked up in terms of the sightline by the fish market, and it's just a really beautiful way of portraying that skyline. This one makes the fish market a taller building than the gelato shop, in fact the tallest building of the three. So there's another key difference. Now, are these differences really all that problematic? I think if you were hoping to get something that is identical or nearly identical to the original submission, you can find some things with which to be disappointed. But I will note, I think there are some improvements. First, I noted earlier that there are better use of angle and building techniques in the official set than the idea submission. There's more snot work and I think a better incorporation of how the angles all fit together that if you're a fan of building experiences, you might enjoy a bit more than what I saw in the original submission. Another difference that I like is the color scheme. I actually think the reddish orange and the light nougat colors are superior to those that are used in the official submission, but that's more of a personal style and largely because I don't have a lot of those pieces in my collection, so I'm maybe being a bit selfish there in terms of wanting some newer pieces for my own building collection. So I can understand why some fans might not like that, while others will appreciate the colors offered in this official version itself. What about the price, right? This is $300 US, 280 euros, 250 British pounds for 3,200 pieces and 10 minifigs. And I think LEGO fans are pretty frustrated with the company's pricing strategy. And you certainly see that with the August wave of Star Wars sets, which are, I think, absurd in how they're being priced. And this set does have a couple of comps that aren't favorable to it, right? You've got the Tudor Corner, which is a modular building. It's $70 cheaper and roughly the same amount of pieces and only has 2 fewer minifigs than this set. You also have the Ideas Botanical Garden released last fall, which has 500 or so more pieces and costs $30 more. I think those comps make this set seem a bit expensive for what you're getting. And you know, why do we see that? I think the first response that people would have would be tariffs. And if you look at the $300 US price versus the 280 euro price, that seems kind of tariffy. Now, whether LEGO is actually doing that or they're just finding an excuse to bump prices up in various markets, I don't know for sure. But I can tell you that the 280 euro price would be much fairer for this set than the $300 price we see here in the United States. That said, I think it's one thing to keep in mind that some of these idea sets do go on sale after a while. We just had the Viking Village actually on sale, 20% off for Insider Days. So that's a possibility to wait for that set. But when push comes to shove, this is a set that we've been saving up for our August purchases. So we aim on buying the set and reviewing it for you. That way you have more information about what this set entails and all of the details and the building techniques and everything we see that will help you be even more informed before you were to purchase this. So if you want to see that review, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and always remember to keep building together.